Hi, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to be looking at if it's a good idea to engage your core in order to create stability when you're riding. So this is Trish, my rider. She's going to be helping us out with this video. And this is Luke, our simulator. So I'm going to put Luke into a walk. And Trish is going to start walking and moving. So of course we know that the pelvis is in contact with the saddle and should be following the movement of the horse's back. So as she walks, as she does this movement, her pelvis is moving. Her pelvis needs to move. And of course, her upper body needs to stay upright and stable. So if I put her into the next walk, it's a little more vigorous, and there's a little bit more that is required for stability for her to stay upright. But the fact that she is upright and not falling over, we can all agree that she's not falling over, she's not falling off, she is stable. If we moved her into the next gait, sitting trot, this is more vigorous and there is more that is required for her body to keep her keep her stable. But her pelvis, we can all agree, her pelvis is still moving. Her pelvis still needs to follow the movement of her horse's back. Good, so we'll go back down. So we have a few different layers of abdominal muscles. We have layers that run around like this, layers that run like this, layers that run like this, layers that run like this. So all different directions of abdominal muscles. And if you were to move the pelvis, so just move the pelvis anyway, yeah, exactly. Can you see how the distance between the pelvis and the ribs, so if you move it, is getting longer and shorter and longer and shorter and moving and moving and moving. So we want to make sure that, if we're thinking about muscles here, that they're able to lengthen and shorten so that the pelvis is still moving. So what happens if we engage our core? So take your hands onto your waist or onto your abdominals on the side here, exactly. So if you engage your core or, firm up the muscles here, so a common thing is you can think about perhaps bracing. So if you, brace against the hands, that would be typically what is happening when you engage your core. Another thing that is taught when engaging the core is hollowing or pulling your belly button in towards your spine. So you can try that. Hold your belly button in towards your spine and you'll notice, okay, yes, that does feel a little bit stiffer in through the core. So go ahead and let that go. I'm going to put you into a walk. So here, as she's moving her pelvis, as she's letting her pelvis move, can you notice, Trish, how the distance between your ribs and your pelvis is lengthening and shortening, or it's changing, right? It's changing. So now, Trish, try engaging your core or bracing, so you can push your abdominals out into your, push them out. And when the muscles are engaged, they are not lengthening and shortening to allow for the distance between the ribs and the pelvis to change. Good. So go back to just letting that go, and you can allow the pelvis to move. So the job of the abdominals is to be able to move the pelvis and the rib cage. They're also responsible for helping out in breathing too. That's one of their other functions. So when the pelvis is moving, these muscles are meant to be lengthening and shortening. So try this with your arm. If you flex and extend your elbow, can you notice how the muscles in the front are lengthening as the muscles in the back are shortening? And then as you flex the elbow, the situation changes. The muscles in the front shorten, and then the muscles in the back lengthen. So in order to allow for movement, we need to have muscles lengthening and shortening. And as long as this happens in a balanced way, we have good movement. What happens if we try to engage one set of muscles or engage something? So try engaging your bicep. So keep your bicep engaged, but try to flex and extend your elbow. Can you notice how you can't move your elbow anymore? So holding and tensing a muscle is a very good stability strategy for static stability. However, if we want to move, we need to be able to lengthen and shorten in our muscles. So this is what we want to do in our abdominals. And if we want to train them in a balanced way, we need to allow for movement in the pelvis. Very basically, very simply, movement in the pelvis. And if we want to strengthen the muscles, we could add some resistance. So if I wanted to strengthen my bicep, I could hold on to a weight, and as I move my elbow, that would be adding some resistance for my muscle to move against. So if I take Trish into the next walk, as long as she's allowing for her pelvis to move, as long as she's allowing for breathing to still happen, because the muscles of the abdominals also participate in breathing, they lengthen and shorten as we breathe. They help with exhalation. And she stays upright. She's not falling over. She has the right amount of stability to, keep this system stable. The right amount of engagement, the adequate amount of muscle activation to keep this situation going. So let's go back down. Good. Another way that we can train our muscles for keeping us stable is add some additional instability. Because if you have more instability and you're still staying upright, you are training with the right amount of muscle activation that is required. Not too much, not too little, but still allowing the muscles to lengthen and shorten. So we're going to show how you can also train stability using a Franklin ball. So we've got this water-filled purple mini roller, and we're going to place it in the deepest part of the saddle. She's going to put her seat bones right on top of it. So here she's on a more unstable surface. So have you ever, tried to keep yourself stable while kneeling on a big stability ball, or doing squats when you're on like a Bosu ball or something to that effect? that helps to train your stability. So by putting a Franklin ball here, we're having a similar effect. It's more unstable, but the training effect will be for creating stability. So here we go. She's gonna walk. So you can do this in a walk. That's fine, that's plenty. And I would suggest, if you're just starting out, just keep it to a walk. So as long as she's staying upright, as long as she's breathing, we can, trust that her muscles are activating as much as they need to keep her stable. And she's also moving, so the muscles are lengthening and shortening. If she goes into a faster walk, good. And then if she goes into a sitting trot, so this is an advanced exercise. So here it is quite unstable being on the mini roller, but if she keeps breathing going, keeps her shoulders relaxed and doesn't fall over, keeps moving her pelvis, she's training the right amount of activation for stability. So if she was to engage her core, you can just notice what that does to her movement. So she looks more bouncy, she's breathing less, she looks more tense, and her body isn't absorbing the movement of the horse very well at all. She's now bouncing, right? So go back to breathing. Good. Go back to soft shoulders and staying upright. Good. Go back down. Perfect. We'll take the ball out. She'll sit back down. She can notice how she feels. So I hope you liked the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like more information about the Franklin method, you can check out our website, franklinmethodequestrian.com. We will see you next time.